Still Pinder. Oh, ball is loose. The Giants have it. Scott Eaton's on the football.
That's a pretty good hitting going on there, I'll tell you.
Jimmy Files knocked it loose, and Scott Eaton covered it.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. And welcome to the Gridiron. And before I get started, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone out there who's been watching my videos. Thank you. If you can maybe give this video a thumbs up or possibly leave a comment below or maybe even share this video, it would mean so much to me. But anyway, just thank you so much for just taking time out of your day to check out this video. Thank you. All right, the New York Giants and the interior, like defensive linemen, like pretty much like, you know, not the edge rushers. All right. You know, the Giants probably could use some help with the you know, the defense and the interior line, right? As I said, not the edge rushers, you know, guys like the tackle, you know, Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, you know. Speaking of those two guys, Leonard Williams and, you know, Dexter Lawrence, those are pretty much the two solid pieces that we have. Okay. Then we signed Justin Ellis, I believe, to a 1-year deal. So he's holding the torch for a year till we get somebody else in here. We got Raymond Johnson III, David Moa, like Nico Lalos, Jihad Ward. I mean, they got him as like a, you know, defensive end. I mean, I don't know if they got Ellison Smith so much as a defensive end, or is he an edge rusher? I mean, he's got the height, you know. But, you know, we're not overloaded with extreme talent. And I said, Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, that's, you know, that's a nice twosome right there. Now, what you don't know is that, you know, like with Dexter Lawrence coming up, because I think it's May 2nd. You got Daniel Jones and you got Dexter Lawrence. What are they going to do with their fifth year? I mean, if DeAndre Baker was still here, you know, we'd be answering about him, asking about him as well too. The fifth-year option, you know, because they were, you know, for their first round, they got drafted in the first round. So this is their fifth-year option. The Giants are going to pick it up May 2nd. They're going to pick it up for Daniel Jones. They're going to pick it up for Dexter Lawrence. Who knows? Now, this year, obviously, we have no money. Next year, we're going to have a boatload of money. We can certainly pick up both of those players. Now, you just don't know. I mean, we're not trying to talk about Daniel Jones here, but, you know, especially with Dexter Lawrence, you don't know, you know, if they're going to want to pick him up. I believe his fifth-year option, I think he's only making like 4 this year, a little over 4. I believe his fifth-year option, I believe, would be like 12. And I said, we'll have the money. But, you know, do they want to allocate $12 million to Dexter Lawrence? Or would they rather just, you know, get somebody in to fill the void cheaper and maybe allocate that $12 million to, you know, somebody else? I mean, you're not going to get the greatest cornerback in the world. You might get a decent safety. You might get a really good linebacker. You know what I mean? So you could certainly allocate the $12 million someplace else. But then it would also add too, is like, if you pick up his fifth-year option, I mean, it doesn't mean that, you know, you guaranteed you got to give him a long-term contract. It doesn't mean that, but it would look a little silly if you picked up his fifth-year option and then, you know, for, you know, $12 million or so, and then you don't sign him and you just kind of let him go. I mean, it's always an option. But I mean, if his fifth-year option is like $12 million. I don't know, you know, what he would want him signing for. I mean, maybe $15 million a year. I'm just throwing numbers out there, 14, 15, 16 million a year. I mean, do they want to, once again, allocate that kind of money to a defensive, you know? I mean, he's a nice, you know, defensive player. Is he worth 14, 15, 16, 17, whatever a year? Yeah, well, I guess we're going to want to find it out. Now, Leonard Williams, I mean, if we're looking to save money, and bring in Joe Shane's guys and Dable's guys and all that, right? I mean, Leonard Williams is, I give the man all the credit in the world. He plays Sunday. The man shows up, puts his uniform on, and goes out and plays. I mean, I give the man all the freaking credit in the world. I'm so happy he's on the team. This, that, whether he gets 11 sacks or whether he gets 5 or 6, whatever, he goes out and plays. The problem I have is, what we're paying him. I mean, it's the going rate. I get it, but it's like I just have a hard time, paying somebody 26, 27 million or whatever. You know what I mean? But if the Giants are looking to save money for next year, we can't cut him this year because we'd just be absolutely, with the dead cap money, would be totally crazy. But next year, he's due $26.3 million. I mean, it's another. I mean, if they wanted to maybe extend his contract, they can maybe drop his cap hit this year, right, and maybe take the hit later on. That's a possibility as well too. But say next year, he's due $26.3 million. If we let him go, the dead cap hit is only 8.3. So we would be saving $18 million if we let him go. You can bring in a pretty nice ball player for $18 million. So, I mean, heck, this could be the last year, period, for Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams. And then where the heck are we? Then it would be in a lot of trouble, if we line up David Moe and Nico Lalos and Jihad Ward and Raymond Johnson III, and then we re-sign Justin. I mean, it could be a lot of trouble. So you got to wait and wind up saying, specifically, like, what is Wink Martindale's defense? How do they prioritize it? Because they like pressure, and in the back end, you got to be able to cover. So, you could put, it's a passing league. Most teams like to pass. So he might want to allocate the money on defense. Well, let's get guys who can get in there and rush the quarterback and disrupt the quarterback. If we give up some yardage on the ground, okay. We need to, when it's passing time, we need to get pressure, and we need to, in the back, we need to cover. So if we got to, get rid of Williams and Dexter Lawrence and save some money, that's okay. We'll bring in, we can sign maybe another good cornerback or maybe another good linebacker or something to do some coverage or to help out blitzing. So it'll be interesting to see where they wind up going, from here with like Wink Martindale's, because they might, just maybe have a weaker defensive front. It is what it is, but then they might bolster some of the other areas. So I just have to wait, because the way it is with the salary cap, you can't have $20 million guys on the defensive front, $20 million edge rushers, $20 million cornerbacks. So you can't do that. So you gotta be interesting to see. Very, very interesting to see how they go about doing it. Now the Giants, they've had this thing they've kind of been doing ever since pretty much 2000. Now this is Joe Shane hasn't partaken in this yet. Don't know if he will or not, but we've had 3 other GMs continued this trend ever since pretty much 2000. What we've done, we've drafted a good quality defensive, tackle, right, and they pretty much just play 4 years with us, and then we just kind of let them go. That's pretty much the theme with a lot of the period. You don't even have to be a defensive tackle. Just the way the Giants have been, modus operandi of late. We just sign guys, and then we never re-sign them. But, especially with, like, defensive tackles. The Giants go back to, like, 2000. They've done this almost every, 4 years. Almost like clockwork. They get a good defensive lineman, good defensive tackle, somebody in the middle can help with the, maybe get a little bit of pressure, but help with the run. Very, very good defensive, and they just don't re-sign them. They just let them go. Started off in 2000 with Cornelius Griffin, second rounder out of Alabama. He was here for 4 years, and we just let him go. And he went to Washington. He played with the Redskins. He was here in 2000. That's the year we went to the Super Bowl, right? And he had a very nice defensive front. It was Keith the Hammer Hamilton, Cornelius Griffin. You had Michael Strahan. We had a nice defensive front. And after 4 years, we let Cornelius Griffin go. 2003, we drafted William Joseph in the first round from the University of Miami, Florida. He played here for 4 years, from 2003 to 2006, and then we just let him go. Then in 2006, we drafted Barry Cofield in the fourth round. He's from Northwestern. He was here from 2006 to 2010, and then we just let him go. Then 2010, all right, so we just, every time we let somebody go, we want to replace him. And we got Linville Joseph, all right. He was in the second round from East Carolina. He was here for 4 years, from 2010 to 2013, and we just let him go. Then in 2013, we drafted Jonathan Hankins, right, in the second round from Ohio State. He was here for 4 years, 2013 to 2016, and we just let him go. I think he went to the Colts for a year. 2014, we drafted Jay Bromley in the third round from Syracuse. He was here for 4 years, but he was not very good, so we want to let him go. He only played, I think, 1 more year after that anyway, but he was not very good. But a high draft pick, defensive tackle, played 4 years, and we just let him go. Then we got, after Jonathan Hankins left, after 2016, we needed to replace him, so we drafted Dalvin Tomlinson, right, from the Alabama, second round, basically the same thing as Cornelius Griffin. 2000, we drafted Cornelius Griffin, second round from Alabama, 4 years, let him go. 2017, Dalvin Tomlinson, second rounder from Alabama, played 4 years, and we just let him go. So, is Dexter Lawrence going to be next, right? He's right along here, right? Right, this will be his 4th year. Are we just going to let him go? We'll have to wind up waiting and see. But, I mean, it's been a trend. The Giants do not seem to place high emphasis on, they like to maybe possibly get a nice defensive tackle in the second or third round, maybe in the first round. But then when it comes time to paying them, they just let them go. So we're going to have to wind up waiting and see. Now, Joe Schoen hasn't done it yet, but, he's the new GM. It just might wind up happening. He didn't draft one, but he might be letting Dexter Lawrence just go. So if we don't prioritize our defensive, interior, defensive, Leonard Williams or Dexter Lawrence or whatever like that, we just want to let them go. It's Giants kind of modus operandi for quite some time, for a couple decades now. So, so if we do that, are we going to replace him, right? Or are we just going to kind of replace him with some mediocre players and just try to beef up everything else, right? Like get some good linebackers, maybe rush the quarterback, or get some linebackers that can maybe cover the tight ends, or some, if the defensive front is kind of mediocre, maybe get Blake Martinez, but maybe get somebody else next to him. It could be another tackle machine, or we maybe get some good help in the safeties, or get some real good cornerbacks or something. We might have to, that's just what we might wind up doing. We'll have to wait and see. We still have, we know we got Leonard Williams for this year. We know we got Dexter Lawrence for this year, but it'll be interesting to see once May 2nd comes, does Dexter Lawrence get that 5th year? If he does, we might want to re-sign him maybe for the long haul. Who knows? But if it doesn't, it might be it for Dexter Lawrence. But anyway, so the Giants could look for possibly in the draft, to maybe replace, right? They haven't lost Lawrence, Dexter Lawrence, or Leonard Williams yet. But if we're going to let him go, we're going to have to replace him with somebody. Now, who could they possibly get in this year's draft? Now, I'll tell you what, Georgia is freaking unbelievable. They got, between Trayvon Walker, Evante White, and Jordan Davis, they got 3. Those guys on the defensive front for Georgia. 3 guys were in the top, on Pro Football Focus, right? 3 out of the top 20 in the country on the defensive front. No wonder why their defense was so good. But let's see, Trayvon Walker, they got him as more like an edge guy, right? So they got Devontae White here, but he's a first round grade, and Jordan Davis from Georgia, both defensive like tackles, inside, like maybe a 3 technique, right? from Georgia, but they're both going to go in the first round. The only way they see the Giants picking either one of these guys would be if they trade back. Maybe New Orleans takes their 2 first-round picks, trades up to the Giants for pick number 5 or number 7. The Giants fall back to like 19 or so, and they might pick up Devontae White. They said, let's see. Okay, here, between the 2 Georgia defensive tackles, White is the far more explosive athlete between Evante White and Jordan Davis. And it shows a pass rusher. Okay, so Devontae White, very good, especially as a pass rusher, right? He graded out at 84 for himself. That's pretty good for like an interior defensive lineman. He graded out at 84 as a pass rusher. He was dominant at the Senior Bowl. So I mean, he's pretty damn good. And I said the Giants ain't drafting him at 5 or 7. They would have to fall back and possibly pick him up if they were going to. I'm just saying, but he would be a heck of a replacement if we were going to get rid of maybe Leonard Williams or Dexter Lawrence. Then they got the next guy would be Jordan Davis. They got like 2 guys going in the first round, PFF. The next 2 defensive tackles, interior defensive line, they got 2 up going in the second round. And I'm just going to go over 4 more. They'll go over 8 that are going to be in the 4th round. All right, but I mean, so there's not a boatload of them. I mean, there's a lot of them, but I mean, as far as high quality and all, I mean, according to PFF, they got 4 guys pretty much in the first 2 or 3 rounds, and that's like it. So, all right. Then they got Jordan Davis, all right, from Georgia, all right, 6'3", 341. I mean, he's a one-trick pony. They got, all right, but it's an impressive one trick, all right. 6'6", 300. I don't know. One person here that have 6'3", and another one have 6'6". Go figure. He's a defensive tackle, will not be moved in the run game. Okay, so if you need somebody for the run game, Jordan Davis is the man. Devontae White is not quite as good in the run game. Let me check this out here. His stats. All right. He graded out at a 90 overall. His pass rush grade is an 84. His run defense is an 83. All right. Jordan Davis. Let's see. His run defense is an 86. His pass rush is a 69. So he's not as good. If you want somebody, Devontae White would be the man. And he can give you pass rush and be good against the defense. Although Devontae Wyatt's only 6'3", 304 pounds. Jordan Davis is like, I got anywhere from 340 to 360 they got here. Go figure. But then the second round, Travis Jones from Connecticut. I'm sorry. The Giants brought him in to try him out. He was one of their like the 30 interviews or whatever they say. They brought him in. All right, so that's a key thing there. He's supposed to go in the second round, so the Giants might be eyeing him up, possibly, okay, in the second round. Now, Travis Jones from Connecticut, 6'4", 325. Jones was the lone bright spot on Connecticut's roster this season, because they usually suck in football. 6'5", 333 pounds. He's a monstrous space-eating nose tackle, but he can be a little bit more than that. He racked up 25 pressures and 21 run stops on the season and played well at the Senior Bowl. He graded out at 87.6. That's pretty impressive. I mean, considering he's the only player on their whole frickin' team. So, I mean, he's very, very impressive. He, let's see, his stats. Let's see. Pass rush, 78.8. His run defense, 86.8. So, he's very good at the run defense. Just put him in the middle. He can maybe get a little bit of a push, but he's very good at the run game. So, keep an eye on Travis Jones from Connecticut, maybe in the second round for the New York Giants. Then you got Logan Hall. They got him in possibly a second round grade too. And then after that, it just kind of falls off, right? Logan Hall from Houston, 6'2", 283 pounds, a little on the lighter side, right? Hall is a bit of an oddity in a number of ways. He rings in at 6'6". They got 6'2", and then they got 6'6". I have no idea. It's where they're coming up these stats at, but yet played as mainly a 3 technique for Houston, right? So he usually plays on the inside, all right, on the outside of the guard, all right. Still, even with the ideal frame for an edge rusher, he still gets the job done against the run on the interior and even earned a 78 run defense grade this past season. So he does well on the inside. He just needs to add a little bit of size to him. But Logan Hall from Houston, they got a second round grade on him as well, too. All right. Then after that, then you got they had the next four guys I'm going to go over. They got pretty much like a fourth round grade on. And then after that, it just kind of falls off. I mean, it doesn't mean the Giants won't draft one, but I mean, if you're looking for somebody who's going to give you a real good impact somewhere along the line. Perrion Winfrey from Oklahoma. Okay, he's 6'4", 290 pounds. Winfrey can get upfield with the best of them. While that translated in his pass rush as he earned a 79.3 grade in that regard. That's not bad. Winfrey is still too easily moved in the run game, though. He's likely a 3 technique, only at the next level. Right, so he plays inside, and a 3 technique would be on the outside of the guard. All right, so he plays inside. They're not going to have him pretty much on the outside, but he needs to put on a little more strength or a little more weight if he gets pushed around a little too easily in the run game. So that's not exactly too good. And they got a fourth round grade on him. Perrion Winfrey from Oklahoma. Then they got Phidarian Mathis from Alabama. Fourth round grade on him. Okay, he's a 6'4", 310 pounds. All right, Mathis is a versatile and reliable 2-gapping run defender who will fit in any defense. All right, his pass rush grade is a 76.7. His run defense is a 77.5. So he's decent. He got 7 sacks last year. He only played like half of the defensive snaps, and he had 7 sacks. So. He had 12 hurries, 6 hits. Decent from Alabama. All right, they got a fourth round grade on him. Then they got Matthew Butler from Tennessee. All right, they got him 6'4", 297 pounds. All right, let's see his stats here. He had 5 sacks. He had 23 hurries, though. That's pretty impressive. I mean, Tennessee, they play some very good. Their opponents are very, very good. He graded out a 72.9 for the run grade, 76.4 for the pass rush grade. So, nothing super spectacular there. I mean, if they want some good depth, he might be the guy, but that'll be somebody maybe in the fourth round. And the last two guys, let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. We got the last guy. Would be Neil Farrell from LSU. He's the last guy. They got a fourth round grade on him. He's 6'4", 330 pounds from LSU. Graded out at 89.8. Farrell can make plays on the nose, but you'll have to live with some of his inconsistencies. So he does have a few problems there. Farrell wins with above average first step quickness for a nose tackle. Combined with a violent and consistent punch, he's a playmaker at nose because of the ability to win consistently early in the snap. Okay. Defenses that like to create havoc and their front four will be a fan of Farrell's services at nose tackle. He's at his best playing off the sides of the opposing lineman rather than working straight up over him. But I mean, so on the inside of the outside of the shoulders of the guard or the center, he would be right there. So I mean, somebody like him, he graded out very well. He graded out 89.8 this past year. Once again, they got a fourth round grade on him. Neil Farrell from LSU. I said, there's a boatload of other guys the Giants could take in the 5th or 6th round too, but pretty much, I mean, you're looking like just like depth. If they're going to get anybody, all right. I'm looking at the first the guys that come in and make a nice impact, earlier on. Okay, you get the 3 guys. You got Evante White, who can stop the run and rush the passer. You got Jordan Davis, who's not much in the pass game, but he can stop the run. And then you got somebody like Travis Jones from Connecticut, who the Giants had come in, all right, this past week. They took a look at him. He's got a second round grade on him. He's very, very good out of Connecticut. And the Giants just might pick him up in the second round. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there. Go Giants! Woo!